There are 8 watches inside this beautiful watch box, and each one of them reminds me of a lesson learned throughout my watch collecting journey. Today, I will share the 9 mistakes I made using the watches inside this box, plus a piece that I no longer have in my collection. I think you will find my mistake number 7 particularly interesting. Before I start, I would like to thank Bosphorus Leather for sponsoring this video. I'll tell you more about them later. Let's talk about the first mistake I made, and that is buying too many pieces in a short period of time. And this Black Bay 58 Blue is a very good reminder of this lesson. I still remember when the Black Bay 58 Black first came out, I knew I would like to add it to my collection, but due to the high demand at the time, I was not able to get it. I ended up waiting for a very long time in order to get hold of one. After wearing it for a couple of months, I knew the Black Bay 58 was perfect for me, so when Tudor released the blue version a couple of months after I got mine, I added myself to the waitlist straight away, expecting that I'll have a long time to consider whether I want to add the blue version to my collection or not whilst I wait. To my surprise, my AD offered me the blue 58 after 10 days. At that point, I decided to jump onto this opportunity right away as I remember how difficult it was for me to get the black version. And this is how I ended up with 2 of the exact same watches in my collection. Don't get me wrong, I still love both pieces, but in hindsight, I should have spent a bit more time with the original Black Bay 58 first before adding the blue model to my collection. Now that the hype on these 2 pieces has gone, I think I would only own one in my collection had I not rushed into the Blue Bay 58 so soon. Now, let's talk about my mistake number 2, and that is not listening to my head. This 2021 Omega Speedmaster Professional is a very good reminder of this lesson. I still remember how much I liked the previous model when I first tried it on, and I came very close to getting one. There was one major reason why I decided not to buy it, and that is the long male end links which I hated. Because I have a very small wrist size, the male end links would just overhang my wrist, so I just couldn't wear the piece. So when Omega released this new moon watch in 2021, where the bracelet has been completely redesigned with a female end link, I went into my AD right away to try it on. With this new design, there is no overhang, so I can technically still pull it off. But my head was telling me, no, this 42mm case together with a thin bezel would probably look too big for your wrist. You would struggle to pull it off. On the other hand, my heart was telling me that there was no overhang, and this is the perfect update I was looking for from Omega, so what am I waiting for? At the end, I listened to my heart and I took this moonwatch home. I must admit, I'm not wearing it as much as I would like to because it just feels a bit too big for me. Had I listened to my head, I would probably be £5,000 better off today. My third mistake can be reminded by this 36mm Rolex Explorer, and that is me being impatient. As you know, you cannot just walk into any Rolex authorized dealer and walk out with the model that you really want. The Explorer was one of the models that I really wanted when it was first introduced in 2021. I thought it was the most versatile piece in the Rolex catalog, and the size is just perfect for me. There was one day when I randomly walked into an authorized dealer. I was offered a bundle deal on this Explorer, meaning that I had to buy a non-Rolex product from the shop in order to be given the opportunity to buy this Explorer. Because I wanted the Explorer so much and I didn't want to wait, I ended up taking the deal, and I sold the extra watch I bought within the same week for a loss. If you want to know which watch did I buy and how much did I lose, you can check out this video on the top right hand corner of your screen. Had I been more patient and just waited, I would probably have received my Explorer by now without having to make an additional purchase. By the way, if you are liking this video so far, please subscribe and give me a like, I would really appreciate that. Now, let's move on to my fourth mistake, and that is giving myself too many excuses to hold onto a watch that I no longer wear. This can be reminded by my Tudor Black Bay Harris, which I no longer have in my collection. I originally bought the Black Bay Harris because I thought it was special. as it was a numbered edition and it was only sold in the UK. Shortly after purchasing it, I just knew that this is not a watch for me because of how heavy and thick the watch is. I came very close to selling it, but I couldn't do it because of a number of excuses I gave myself. One excuse was the fact that it was a special edition. If I ever want to buy it again in the future, I might not be able to buy it directly from Harrods anymore once it is discontinued. Another excuse I gave myself was that it might be a good watch to keep for my social media content. Anyway, I finally decided to sell the watch a couple of months ago, and guess what? The Black Bay Harrods is still in production, and I don't miss it a bit. I just didn't need it in my collection, and I wish I had the courage to sell it sooner. Now, let's move on to the fifth mistake I made, and that is buying too many unnecessary and sometimes cheap accessories. And my Moon's watch reminds me of this costly mistake. You know how everyone complained about how rubbish the straps of their Moon's watches are? I also loaded up a bunch of straps to go with my Moon's watches. And guess what? I only used 2 of the many straps I bought at the end, and the rest never see the light of days again. My key takeaway is that I should only buy the accessories I need, and I would buy high quality products even if it means paying a bit more on day one. You know what they say? Buy it nice or buy it twice. I know what I would do. To me, every watch collector should have a nice watch box to house your watches, and I highly recommend you to check out the premium watch cases made by Bosphorus Leather. The one I have here is the Petra watch case. I love the pattern and the design of the case, and the build quality really comes through when you hold it in your hands. Oh, by the way, as soon as you open up the packaging, you can smell the leather right away. The exterior of the case is made out of parchment patina leather, and the interior is made out of suede leather. The case comes with a simple lock design, and the key is nicely stored in a leather holder which matches the pattern of the case. The lock is really easy and smooth to operate. After you flip open the lid, you will find a cover secured by 2 buttons, and hidden underneath the cover, you will find the perfect home for your watches. There are a couple of features I really like about this case. First is the removable tray. You can easily turn this watch box into another storage unit whilst keeping all your watches in the removable tray and store them separately, perhaps in a safety deposit box. The other feature people often overlook is the quality of the cushions. These cushions are nice and soft. What I love the most about this watch box is that it is made to order, so you can customize the cushion size to ensure a perfect fit for your watches. The other feature I really like is the inclusion of this interior cover. You can use it as a soft surface to rest your watch on whilst you are swapping pieces, or simply use it as a workstation to change your straps. I really like this premium watch box by Bosphorus, and I highly recommend you to check it out. Big thank you again to Bosphorus Leather for sponsoring this video. Now, let's talk about my mistake number 6, and that is falling into the supply and demand marketing trap. This Black Bay 58 bronze is a very good reminder of my lesson. When this Black Bay 58 bronze was first introduced, Tudor made it a big deal on how it can only be bought in Tudor boutiques. This makes the watch a lot more exclusive than the rest of the Tudor offerings. Back when I purchased this Black Bay 58 bronze, there was only one Tudor boutique in the UK, and it just happened that the boutique was able to offer me this Black Bay 58 bronze 2 days after it was released. I thought to myself, given only one store in the entire UK carries this watch, it must be rare, and therefore I would be an idiot to pass it on. Together with my love for the Black Bay 58 lineup, I decided to buy it on the spot without much thoughts. Fast forward a couple of years, there are now 7 Tudor boutiques in the UK, and guess what? There is no waiting list on this piece. Look, who is the idiot now? Let's move on to my mistake number 7, and that is buying the wrong watch for your other half. There's only one lady model in this watch box, so you know the Datejust 31 is the one that reminds me of this lesson. Watch lovers like us tend to assume our significant other would also appreciate watches as much as we do. The fact of the matter is they often don't. I really wanted to get my wife a Rolex for her birthday, so I got her this Datejust 31. Don't get me wrong, she loves this watch, and this model and configuration is the one that she likes the most out of the entire Rolex catalog. Whilst my wife loves her Datejust 31, she just doesn't wear it very often. In hindsight, a better watch for her would be a quartz watch, because she doesn't have to set the time every time she puts it on, and perhaps also from a brand that doesn't draw as much attention as Rolex. Or even better, a trip to Disneyland would probably bring her more joy than any watches. Remember, just because you love watches doesn't mean your other half would appreciate the pieces as much as you do. Get them what they love, not what you want them to love. Let's move on to the 8th mistake, and that is caring too much about what other people think, and this can be reminded by my Rolex Submariner. When I first started wearing my Submariner, I started questioning myself with questions like, will wearing a Rolex draw too much unnecessary attention? What if my boss spotted a Submariner on my wrist and wouldn't give me a raise? Would others think I'm wearing a fake? Because of all these thoughts, I stopped wearing my Submariner for a while. But you know what? I learned that nobody actually cares about what you are wearing, and if someone notices your watch, it is likely that they are also in the watch hobby themselves. Also, wear what you like and don't worry about what other people think. I have seen YouTube comments saying that my Submariner is too big for my wrist, and I even came across a sales associate asking me why did I buy a two-tone Datejust 36 at my current age. But you know what? I don't actually care about what they think as long as I'm happy with what I'm wearing. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but we don't have to please what other people think. My mistake number 9 is one that I only realized recently, and that is to assume buying a Rolex watch at retail price is impossible. I picked up this Rolex Submariner date from an AD after waiting for just one day. Check out this video on the left for my full story. I also picked up this root beer from the same AD with just 2 visits. Check out this video on the right for my full story. Cheers.